Hi there. If you're a creative looking for a fun way to use your gel plate to create textured, beautiful, layered prints that you can tear up and use in collage, then we should hang out. Because I just spent literally 3 hours making all of these lovely textured prints on my plate using acrylic paint, stencils, and a lot of experimentation. So if that appeals to you, I'll meet you back at the paint table and I'll show you how I made these so you can make them too. See ya. I just finished watching a video by a man called Ceri the Crafter, Ceri, and he just made 40 random sheets of paper covered with all manner of color and texture that look like absolute chaos, but I fell in love with the results. So I know we're all responsible for our own chaos, and I'm getting ready to make mine. If you guys, any of you guys are back after watching me for a while, you know I'm a little bit scared of color. So I'm going to put that gray down with a really messy parchment, a little bit of parchment. Grab my brayer, mix that up a little bit. Okay, this first sheet of paper is going on. And I've got like a roll-off sheet to put over that so I don't end up with all of the colors on my hands. Peel that off. So this is rice paper. It's a little tender. I'm used to working with pretty sturdy stuff. So there's a sheet, a blobby looking sheet, but I'm not going to get particular about it. I'm going to throw some more of this color back on. Maybe a little bit more gray. How about just a tad of black? That's not a tad, Ceri. That's a big giant blob. Okay. I do specialize in blobby paint. Okay, I'm going to drop that on there. This will end up a very interesting piece of paper when I'm done. No real way to pick these up other than to just get right in there. Oh, that is a strong yellow. That's definitely yellow. Let's see what's next. This is called raw sienna, a friend of the oxide, but a more pumpkin hue. Okay, so here's a picture of the papers that I just created, and you can see there's a lot of variety in color. They're all fairly bright. So the next thing that Ceri did, I've never done before, but I'm kind of excited about it, where I'll put different colors, I'm not sure how I'm going to work that out, on this plate and not try to get the whole sheet covered, just try to add little splotches to the sheet. Okay, so I've pulled out some things from my texture drawer. This hasn't been used yet. Looks like it might have been cookies because I'm a fan. Small bubble wrap, some kind of paper packaging, anti-slip thing, doily, large bubble wrap. Let's do big bubble wrap. pretty dry. I'm just going to put a little bit of white into it. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I see. Okay, this is making me a little bit happy here. What do you think, guys? Really interesting pattern. I like the pattern coming off of it better than sticking it on the plate. What do you think? This is not a pattern I've used before. I have to tell you, I like it. This thing is a keeper. Look at these awesome textures that I did not know about before. Even on top of green, it's interesting. Definitely like that. Okay, I should probably try to pick some of this up. Let's see what happens with this. This might be too dry. Hand off of it. Oh, looky. Looky, guys. And so far we haven't bought a stamp or a stencil. I've got this pile of neutrals. Let me work with the blues. Let me work with the blues because I haven't had good luck with those so far. I'm going to leave that there because maybe it'll be interesting when I pull it. So I'm going to, let me just get a wrinkle of purple. The light's pretty there. This one's going to need some love. Not much going on there. This is going to need some love. Oh, there's that little bit of texture that picked up. What about this green thing? What are you going to do? Oh, it is picking up the texture, which I do enjoy, but I think it needs to be lighter. So let's go with some white. Keep going back to this. Oh, that's getting better. These are getting yummy. Ooh, look at how that transferred. Interesting. Oh, I think that this is a very fun project. Okay. The next thing that Ceri does is he works with stencils, partial stencils, to add some texture to these. And I have a bunch that I've pulled out that are kind of generic stencils. And what I mean by that is they're not specifically by an artist. So they're less recognizable. And I like to use that kind of work in my own work because, you know, we're all trying to carve out our own little world here. This is a giant pile of overkill, but I'm going to go through and sort out some things that I think will leave interesting. I don't like to use, for instance, these kinds of stamps in their entirety, but I like to use parts of them. These are a bunch of stencils that I purchased on Amazon that are just random patterns, again, not in their entirety, but in some of the little shapes that they have. So these I'll link because I know where I purchased these. I'll put these down in the description. Okay, some things like that. Actually, this is one of my favorites. This I learned about from Denise Love, and it took a lot of sleuthing to find it, but I just like the geometry of that. I think that's quite lovely. And you can see on some of these I've chopped off the edge because I don't want that frame around it. So I've got a bunch of things like this that we're gonna, we're gonna play around with. Okay, I've narrowed this down to a handful of stencils that might make interesting marks, and I'm going to work with probably Payne's Gray paint instead of black because I always go black and sometimes I'm not in love with the results. Normally when I put paint through a stencil, I use a sponge, but I bought this gadget for myself the other day. I do not know what this is called, but I'll figure it out and I'll put a link in the description. It's for doing things, putting paint through things, and we'll see how it works. I haven't used it yet. Okay, so I'm not going to talk, I'm just going to work, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, maybe I am going to talk. This is an awesome gadget. I don't know what it's called, but but it's awesome. Okay. Yeah, it's awesome. You should have it if you want it. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know how you take care of it. Interesting. Now, none of these are going to be used as they are. They're going to be, I'm going to tear out that section. I might use that. Okay, so let's see what we can do with some of these. His are much more sophisticated than mine, but I think he's a way more accomplished artist than I am. I'm going to give that just a little bit of a squirt so that it doesn't dry up so fast. Oh yeah, this thing is freaking awesome. Are you kidding? Yeah, and the Payne's Gray is an interesting thing. Oh, I freaking love this little gadget. Yes, very fun. Subtle. I like working on this gel plate because it's sticky and it holds everything down. This is just a paper stencil that I bought, probably at Michael's or something like that. I like the geometric. Oh, that's fun. That's a little too dark for my eye. This is something I carved out of a, I don't know, probably a binder thing. Interesting. This looks like it's going to need something light. Let me just on a little bit of dark to use up this paint. Oh yeah, these little things are fun. Look at that fun little pattern there. I have so many layers. I thought it was going to need light, but it seems to be pretty happy with this dark. How can I fill that little area? Come here, you. Yeah. Very fun. If I can find links to any of these stencils that I found on Amazon, I will share them with you. Let me just try doing a couple of things on here. Let's get some white on there and some Payne's Gray. And let's see. This thing is friggin' awesome. These are just some little gadgets that I carved out of something. They've got a fun little shape. Does that transfer? Not really. Fun. More handmade stuff. A little bit strong. So a lot of these little stencils I have carved out of things in an effort to have stuff that looks like me and not someone else. These are so much fun. I am so pleased that I watched that video today. Okay, I've got some more shapes here and some more very dark papers. So I think it's time for me to switch to white, which means I have to do something to this, but I don't know what. So I'll be back. Okay, so now I've got these pile of dark papers, dark blue, dark purple, and they're going to need something light over it. So one of the things I might want to try, white is the obvious choice. Parchment is the second obvious choice. I'm also going to try silver, which I never work with, but why not? Let's just see. Let's see what happens when we put silver over this guy. Let's try these little leaves. Maybe I'll just add a little bit of water to that. Oop. Let's see if I can line that back up. There you go. Can't tell anything about the shine at this point. Maybe. Let's try. This might not be contrasty enough. It may need white. So I'm going to go with a scooch of white. And see if that's It's actually a very pretty colorway. So much fun. It's best when the paint is very thin. It doesn't, see how it globs up around the edges there? Oh, that's pretty. Very, very fun. Let's try Okay, so I just cleaned up, and I have to tell you how much I love this piece of glass thing that I have here, which I clean up with a razor blade and a damp cloth with a little bit of Windex, and it comes out perfect. It's my favorite thing that I've purchased for, especially for recording, but just in general for gel printing. It really works out well. And just as an aside, I bought a lefty by mistake, but I like my gel plate on the left hand side. It makes me happy. So I don't know how many sheets I have here, quite a few. I made a bunch of sheets, and I'm going to take you on a little tour of them to show you what I've done. Now these are intended to be torn up and used in collage, which I will do and let you know when that comes out. So I may have overdone it. I may not have. I think that some of these bold things I'm probably really going to enjoy. I really like that little gadget that I bought, that I'll figure out what it is. Some of these are very fun. Not colors that I would normally use together, this red and that green. I just normally would not do that. I've learned a lot about using that gadget. You want the smallest amount of paint because you get a really clear thing versus a squishy thing. And I think some of these would probably need some more love, but you know, I like to draw on things. I like to doodle and add elements, and maybe I would do something like that on these. That needs some love. So does that. Move these off camera. So I can see myself chopping these up, working them into not a single collage, probably a ton of collages. Ooh, oh, now you can tell. Now I'm in my element. I really like neutral colors. I love neutral colors, even though that's got the red and the gray. The red, I just love that. I love this, and I love that. Oh, yeah, I love this. Oh, yeah, that too. Okay, so you can see I had a great deal of fun making these things, and I really enjoyed showing it to you. And I have to tell you, this video is going to be edited to death because it's 10 past 2, and I started filming at 10 past 11. So I have been doing this for almost 3 hours, and ain't nobody got time for that. So I'll trim it down for you. It was a pleasure showing you my art process today. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and maybe even share it with one of your friends. Let them know what I'm doing over here. My name is Ceri Burlington. I'm an artist, I'm an errant and an angel mom, and I am really enjoying sharing my art with you on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.